And I'll be bearish on some of my alts after they do finally shoot and get that parabolic move I'm looking for, because I've studied the previous cycles, and I will wait. What's going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another XRP update. I've been doing videos on crypto for the past several years, and this video is going to be very interesting, let alone the news that Apple, the company, did just drop, really opening the doors for crypto assets, specifically XRP. In this video, we're going to be going over the XRP price chart, a look at Bitcoin. We've had this fake rally, then this flash crash, and everything in between. Emotions are at an all-time high. And also, I'm going to show you some looks of HBAR, of Hedera Hashgraph, both backed by digital currency group, just like Ripple was. And I've been a long-term holder, big fan of this guy on the channel ever since buying it on the first exchange it was ever launched on. And my expectations for HBAR remain the same. I'm not on the 4-hour chart. I'm not on the 30-minute chart. I buy, I hold, and I simply sell at a higher price. And that's essentially what all these interviews of billionaires tell us time and time again. And we're looking for some secret. And in reality, it's just massive, massive amounts of patience. Wait for your pitch and then swing. You don't have to swing at everything. You don't need every single crypto in the world to succeed. If anything, if you own 50 cryptos and your portfolio is only $10,000, you might be spreading yourself a little thin. Just a few considerations, okay? And we're going to be comparing Algo, Algorand. I hope you guys enjoyed that video last night of Algo. I really love Algo, and it is doing well. We're going to see if it does, in fact, copy some of the moves that Solana has been doing. Remember, Solana reached the full 4.236 extension all the way up here from the recent swing high of, I'd say, the April-May high. And in reality, Algo wicked the 1618. And what happens if in the weeks and months ahead we actually get all the way to those targets of $4 to $5 plus? That would be beautiful, setting the way and leading the way nicely for other assets such as XRP and HBAR. And I'll show you something interesting today. We're going to measure on candle bodies and show you HBAR and XRP are primed. I have so much to go over today, so I hope you guys enjoy. So first things first, we'll start off with Hedera. So notice, wick to wick, swing high, swing low. This is on the weekly chart. We have the golden crosses, of course, with the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA, both crossing. Same with Algo. And funny enough, Algo finally was battling through. The 50% retracement rejected it, finally made it through, and blasted to the 1618. Now, on this channel, this has been a target for quite some time for a lot of assets. I wish I could make it go sooner, but that's just not how the world works. So I'm a slave to waiting, just like everybody. Only difference is that I have targets in mind and I always take profit. So if HBAR were to be at this level, I'm just simply not interested in panic selling HBAR. I know we've been talking about it when it was at 17 cents again, besides even at the 1 penny days. And we were talking, yes, this one, Ramp and DAG all moved together, and HBAR is the only one that is yet to hit 40 cents again. So in my opinion, I still think we have beautiful upside on a week-over-week basis. I'm not going to worry if we come down, challenge the 382. I hope we don't do another flash crash and challenge this 236, but nonetheless, my bias remains the same. I'm not trading leverage, and I expect to see HBAR targets at these levels at the very least. And this is not financial advice, solely my opinion. Here's another look for HBAR, Algo, and Luna. So this is the weekly fib using candle bodies, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're just measuring on the candle bodies to be a bit more conservative in doing this across the board for these assets. So it seems like Luna is moving out of this cup and handle and is ahead, has wicked perfectly to the 2 Fibonacci extension. Next up, Algo using candle bodies. We've gotten a nice little blast. We're still battling under the 1618 today. And I mean, to me, this is extremely impressive. We took off right at the 702 level, this retracement, and blasted off. And still holding these levels at an all-time high price is beautiful. So the RSI took off for Luna. Next up, Algo behind, and of course Solana's in front of Luna, and DAG is in front of all of them. And I believe QNT actually might be leading DAG. And I know I said that months ago before catching that DAG ride. But anyways, we see the RSI piercing right here. Still good relative strength, and we can go check the live chart shortly, but I want to show you assets like HBAR, and including XRP as well, and even Bitcoin, frankly. And Ethereum, of course, kind of battling that all-time high price. He's sitting right at the 702. And what happened for Algo? Well, it finally blasted through these levels. These are critical to get past. And so the 127 is about 41 cents per HBAR. The 1618 is about 48 cents. And keep in mind, these are still the conservative estimates of the short term. This is not the full potential of HBAR. And of course, HBAR's full potential, we don't know. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to, stop at $5 or $10. We don't know the potential. We've never been here before. This is uncharted territory. And anybody that says they know is lying. Wick to wick on the weekly, we can see HBAR's extensions do in fact go much higher, such as 66 cents and above. And I do know that Credible Crypto has some beautiful calls, kind of expecting HBAR, I believe, do not quote me on this, to go $2 to $5 in this bullish cycle. So something to consider. So as you can see, RSI, MACD, and just doing really not even a top-down analysis, but a side-by-side analysis, and then I could actually move each of these to the daily time frame and go through them and look at them accordingly. I can add different exponential moving averages. I can add different, I can add volume. I can look at the Fibonacci pivots, and I'm really doing this all in all, just measuring these swing highs. So of course, these were essentially equal, and I'm doing this across the board for a lot of assets. It goes way deeper, but I just want to give you a high-level overview of the simplicity. And all of a sudden you were in Luna, it rides up to this level or up here, you sell, you enter algo, it goes up another, say 50% or so, or 100%, and then you sell, and then you enter HBAR, and then you can catch that whole full ride. That's the idea of essentially dancing between profits. And of course, this is a perfect example. Real life doesn't work like that, but if you're able to catch a few of these in a bullish cycle, oh baby, it can be life-changing. I have my long-term holds I don't touch, but my trading bag, I do my best to outperform my long-term holds. So to share a little bit about me. Also, which happens next for Bitcoin? So we have over 1,310 votes, and I just was curious what people's sentiment was. Now, of course, this is kind of biased. I should have done a split down the middle even estimate, but which happens next for Bitcoin? 60,000 or 20,000? And we can see over 1,300 people actually voted that they think 60K is next for Bitcoin. Now, do I believe that Bitcoin can go to 25K, 20K at some point in the future? Yes, absolutely. But I still have not seen what I need to see per other assets yet. And of course, historically, end of year is always a very interesting and exciting time for the crypto market. Also, guys, I tweeted this so I'd remember to cover this. If you are in the cryptocurrency market and have never studied the Bitcoin cycles, the Bitcoin halving, you have to understand what this does to the supply, and not just to Bitcoin, but this affects the entire crypto market. If you have not looked into the Bitcoin cycles, how these essentially bull runs do occur in cycles, sometimes multiple cycles, you are really missing out on the big picture. Whether you're bullish or bearish, this technology is here to stay. We have not even scratched the surface of what is yet to come. And this is not hypey, this is factual. Go look at the ascending channels, look at each bull run, look at the halving dates, and look how Bitcoin performed. Then look at the alts that then proceeded to take off in different orders. And XRP was usually the last to shoot and was always one of the biggest returns each and every time. And now this is what is beyond interesting, guys. The total altcoin market, excluding Bitcoin, has climbed from $120 billion to over 1.23 trillion. That is over a 10x, as you can see right here, since from September, when this bull run really began at the end of last year of 2020. We've been in a beautiful ascending channel. You've seen this cup and handle, double bottom, and funny enough, this exact fractal is what existed within OGN, within XRP, and these fractals exist on 30-minute time frames, 4-hour time frames, and weekly, and we all look at them in a different way. We all look at the same chart and see something different, and I think that's beautiful. That's amazing. But remember, I was bullish looking at this, and you're called an idiot, you're called a scammer for being bullish after you studied the Bitcoin cycles, understanding that markets are growing in terms of institutional interest. Just like the gentleman for Real Vision Finance, he's stating facts. Formerly Goldman Sachs, he goes, yeah, people don't realize that the cryptocurrency market has, 100 million users, and we're already outpacing 2 times the speed that the internet bubble really grew at. He goes, exponential growth is underestimated. Network effects are going to take this market into the trillions and trillions in the next decade. And yes, I know we're at 2 trillion today, maybe a little under with this recent crash. We're still going to $10 trillion in the years ahead. And that still is conservative, I know. So remember, if you're bullish, it does not mean you're a scammer. It just means that you have that belief based off the data you're seeing. And if you're bearish, I'm not calling you a scammer. I'm not calling you a fudster. You're completely allowed to be bearish after these types of parabolic moves. And I'll be bearish on some of my alts after they do finally shoot and get that parabolic move I'm looking for, because I've studied the previous cycles and I will wait. Also wanted to do a quick anonymous poll, guys. This is anonymous. You didn't have to answer it or not, but we had over 3,000 votes, and it just shows the size of people on Crypto Twitter's portfolio today. I found this to be pretty interesting. Feel free to look at it and pause it, but I'll keep moving. Before going over the Apple news, I wanted to read this. I received a text message this morning that said, and it was from a good buddy, I wish I jumped on board with you years ago instead of just getting started in May, meaning essentially buying the top of this recent market. And, I bet we're all going to receive similar text messages in the years ahead too. Time in this market always wins. XTC, QNT, Algo, even HBAR was at a penny. DAG. Every asset in between long-term. XRP was at 22 cents at the beginning of this year. Time in the market proves profitable, provided you're in a strong asset. And if you guys are here on this channel studying crypto assets, investing each and every day, the good mindset, always learning something new, you are already ahead of 99% of the population, because you're focused on looking at assets that are income producing, Cash flow is king. And if you love what you do on a daily basis, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're an employee at a 9 to 5, that's awesome as long as you're happy. But I think we can both agree that it's just smart and logical to not rely solely on one source of income, because after all, we are just numbers, everybody's expendable. And in realizing that, just like you diversify in different asset classes or potentially different assets, I think you should diversify your streams of income. Make sure it's not centered around just one single industry, although you hear different quotes about diversification is for people that don't know what they're doing, and billionaires don't diversify, they go all in. And although that may be true with some scenarios, I'm just speaking out loud here. Don't even get me started on Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, essentially going back and forth with the SEC, already arguing. This could prove to be some very interesting times. And of course, it coincidentally happens during the biggest SEC case in history versus Ripple. History favors the bold. I have my bias. Please do your own research, but I am excited for what's to come. The SEC is essentially trying to be a bully and expand their jurisdiction to the entire world. Remember, they're just the US. There's an entire global ecosystem and economy outside of it that's already leveraging XRP. And yes, those countries such as the UK, Singapore, Japan, even Switzerland all said XRP is not a security. So guess what, guys? No matter what, Ripple is still going to be operating there and using XRP like it does today. And in my opinion, yes, the SEC of the US can fight and resist, but they're going to come around sooner or later. This is politics. Whether or not you believe some of the people on the SEC are puppets or not, that's speculation. But, I've heard this one quote from, I think, that show, Mr. Robot, and it says, you can control anybody, or you can make anyone a puppet if you pull the right strings. And I thought that was extremely interesting, especially in the world of politics where I will never be. As you can see, Matt Hamilton, no surprise, the absolute genius, and he knows so much about the XRP ledger, it's not even funny. Hearing him speak makes me feel stupid. The principal developer advocate, as we can see right here, for RippleX Dev. So RippleX was formerly called Spring, or Spring as it's actually pronounced, and it was just for developing on the XRP ledger, onboarding ramps outside of just the company Ripple, bringing utility to XRP outside of what Ripple is just doing. And what does he share? Potentially massive. This now breaks Apple's monopoly on payment mechanisms allowed in iOS apps. Now we have app developers that are now allowed to take payments by other means, for example, via XRP. And now some of you are going to say, oh, but so what? Well, you didn't do your research because Apple literally complimented Stephen Thomas's products. Stephen Thomas's, the former CTO of Ripple, his products. So regarding interledger protocol, regarding micropayments and streaming of payments, they called it the Amazon Prime of payments. This is years ago. And Stephen Thomas, for those of you that do not know, is still largely part of Coil and of course interested in XRP. He literally redid the entire Bitcoin codebase as he shared on stage with, I think, Chris Larson. I don't think it was David Schwartz. And so he says he knows the code perfectly. These gentlemen, even David Schwartz of Ripple and former background at the NSA before Ripple's, CTO of Ripple, he was an early contributor to the Bitcoin codebase. So I think they're learning, yeah, Bitcoin can be a store of value, ETH can be king of smart contracts, and maybe have help with other layer 2 protocols, and we'll see if anything ever beats it in the future. But XRP is for payments. XRP doesn't have to kill any current crypto asset to do that. All it has to do is plug into the existing financial ecosystem of 40-year-old technology and help make payments go from 2 to 6 days to essentially a matter of minutes or seconds. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think that seems crazy, but to some people, it is. So we have Nilay Patel right here, CNBC contributor. Judge in Apple Epic issues permanent injunction against Apple developers now allowed to direct customers to other payment systems. Story is coming, so we're going to keep a close eye on this. Feel free to pause and read this. And of course, you can follow him at Reckless. That's cool that he owns that name on Twitter. And really quick, before going over XRP yet again, we have Zilliqa. Keep in mind, Zill is one of those assets that did in fact create a new all-time high of 23 cents, beating its former 2018 price point, at least per this exchange. I know I've seen some other figures where it was like 24, 25 cents, but nonetheless, many assets have not even created or hit their all-time high price. So pretty interesting. We have a golden cross occurring. Notice it is sitting right on the 8 exponential moving average on the weekly. It hit the 382, came back down, sitting on the 236, where we already have assets on the 702. Don't believe me? Well, where is HBAR right now? At 30 cents, almost 31 cents, sitting right on the 702 retracement, using the candle bodies as swing high, swing low. It can change if we go wick to wick, but I wanted to show you this across the board. Wick to wick with XRP, we're sitting at the 382 to perfection, and look, we're also sitting on the 8 exponential moving average. Now, let's move these candle bodies, or at least the swing low to the candle body now, and compare this. And we're on the 50% retracement. And the wick actually wicked all the way down during this flash crash, almost to that 21 exponential moving average. We see this across the board with a lot of assets as well. Luna was battling down here, finally went. Other assets battle up here before they finally go. So just wanted to show a high-level overview of that. And as always, people are probably freaking out watching the XRP price chart versus Bitcoin on the 4-hour. And what do I always say? When in doubt, zoom out. Look at the big picture. And please, if you're new, go study the Bitcoin cycles. Everybody that has studied it comes back to me and says, wow, this just gave me a whole new perspective for this market. It's not hopium, it's actually factual, so that it helps you keep your emotions in check, especially if this bull run is going to be finishing a massive finale in the future. So, when in doubt, zoom out. We're on the 4-hour. Let's zoom out and see how BTC and XRP are looking on the 4-hour chart. No, Bitcoin's at these retracement levels as well, battling. So obviously this is what's dragging the market down. But let me pull up the total altcoin market and show you something that I was referencing in the beginning of this video. So total 2, this is the total alt market excluding Bitcoin. Okay, so now we're on the 4-hour with the total altcoin market. This is excluding Bitcoin, of course, a similar look as expected, although we did run up a bit more. We challenged that all-time high price for the altcoin market. This is all alts besides Bitcoin, their market cap, which is insane. And so I know that some people are bearish, some people are bullish, but this is literally the most exciting time to be in the cryptocurrency market. Is it dangerous? Is it exciting? Is there unbelievable upside if this does break through? Yes, and there's a lot of alts that have yet to create an all-time high price, so I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. So XRP, this is the 4-hour price chart, and let's actually take this to the weekly. I want to show you a few other setups. And isn't it funny that the 4-hour price chart, and this is what I often call it the cup and handle pattern, well, it exists everywhere, and it exists even here with the total alt market cap on the weekly. So just let me show you really quick. So we have this high. I'm just going to be super sloppy like a kid drawing with a crayon. We have double bottom right there, double bottom right there, and of course it relatively rhymes. You know, you have this little move up here, this little move, and they're really just kind of shooting. Now this made it all the way up top and went on top of its all-time high price. For XRP, we haven't even blasted through this recent all-time high in April. And the funny thing is that someone watching this video that's new is going to go, oh, we haven't done that, so why do I want it? Well, you have to be a contrarian investor, and that's exactly why I want it. I want assets that have yet to explode, whereas everybody in typical average Joe wants to buy assets once they're up here. And I get so many messages, just like anybody in crypto, I'm sure you guys can relate, where every time an asset does like a 400% pump, everyone's blowing you up asking if you should buy it. I don't understand that sentiment. This just goes to show that you have to think the exact opposite of what everybody else is thinking. And it's also incredibly subjective how I'm marking this right here. This is sloppy, I understand that, but let me show you a few other ways to look at it, and this is exactly why I apply Fibonacci, and that's why I apply looking at other indicators along with volume and the macro timeframes. I'm looking at the weekly and the monthly and sometimes the daily for the moving average movement. But Fibonacci is literally my all-time favorite. But this could be subjective. Instead of thinking that this move, was here, you could also make the argument that this whole move, this little crash is very different than something that we saw here. It's incredibly subjective, but remember, XRP, where are we at? I'm going to go from this high. We can see we made it to the 618, but we still have to battle these big levels. And of course, if you move it down here to that most recent high, this is a good swing high, swing low. We hit that 702 and rejected. And I did see Blockchain Backer completely call this. So there's no disputing it. Fibonacci is so powerful. These retracement levels are key, and it's still my belief that we blast on through this. Even though it's been 84 years, it's worth the wait. And remember, for the total altcoin market cap, we have the swing high, swing low, double bottom. We've made it, but we haven't even gotten to the 4.236, which is almost 1.9 trillion, at least per this setup I have right here. What I'm going to do now is move this to the daily, and you can see all this battling on, the 50%, 618, 382. And I mean, it's typical. You have to battle to get through each of these retracements. There's some battling to get past the 236, battling at the 382 to get above and beyond, and then the final battling to get through that 702 level. When you get there, notice it hit, tapped on the all-time high price, and then shot up again. So these are some of the moves that we saw: Algo, Solana, Luna, ADA, QNT, DAG, Do, and it's absolutely beautiful. And for anybody that says the Fibonacci doesn't work, just wanted to touch on this again. Wick to wick, we literally have the wick hitting at the 4618, and our targets since the 1 to 2 penny days were literally 30 to 40 cents, and the 4618 is about 40 cents. So these were our targets to literally sell, buy back lower. And yes, I have long-term faith in DAG, this digital asset. Of course, it literally did like a 2,000 to 3,000% move. Let it cool off. It's allowed to breathe. But when you see these assets, 1, 2, you're getting massive pushes. If they roll over a little bit, that's completely natural. Do you remember how long QNT was in consolidation? It was in consolidation for several months. People almost sold QNT. I think some did, actually. And they're hating themselves for it. And they actually probably sold QNT that was nice and low. Imagine selling QNT down here, quant, to buy something that was up here, your asset dumps, and then Q&T pumps, and you completely lost your position in both directions, and you're upset. And it's because you did a move out of emotion. You were rushing the process instead of just allowing it to play out. And what I remember with Dag when we were going over this on Patreon is when we were battling that 702 level, it was key. Look at this, 1, 2, and then we finally challenged again, and this is on the 4 hour. I could zoom in a little bit more, but I mean, we finally got through, and of course, we began to climb and went parabolic, and then tapped on the all-time high. And we've seen that before, right? Yes. Alright guys, we're going to finish up with this quote on Twitter. I hope this helps you, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. And be sure to like and sub. All links are in the video description as always. Money is not the answer to happiness. It is merely a permission slip that helps you to buy time. Time is my most valuable asset. And for me, this money, it's not the goal. It's just a means to an end. It's a permission slip that allows me to live life on my own terms and be free. It's just simply potential energy that has yet to be unleashed, and you can choose how that's unleashed. You can start a business venture. It gives you options, opportunity, travel, anything in between. So if you guys have any thoughts on this or would like to, expound on this topic, if that's a word, feel free to let me know down in the video comments, and I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one.